points facing us. Grant us the mercy, O Lord, that we shall today also honor thy name in all we think, do, and say. Almighty God, we pray thee, bless our land and all its people. This all we pray in the name of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. I solemnly affirm that I will be faithful to the Republic of Namibia and its people, and I solemnly promise to uphold and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic of Namibia to the best of my ability. Any messages from the head of state? Any petitions? Any reports of standing select committees? Other reports and papers? Notices of questions? Yes, Honorable Ampanda.
I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 17 April 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs, Honorable Franz Kapofi, the son of Oname Village, the following. Honorable Minister, the 26-year-old notorious company, August 26 Holdings, a public enterprise owned by the Namibian people through the Ministry of Defense, has in recent years earned the reputation of being the headquarters of corruption. I have, over the years, personally dealt with several corruption involving the Ministry of Defense, August 26 Holdings, and its subsidiaries. Despite repeated corruption exposure, nothing substantive seems to happen beyond sacrificing a few clerical individuals. On close inspection, the revealed corruption seems to inspire many operatives of the corrupt August 26 web to steal more and more. It's a theater that reminds one of vampire movies. A few months ago, we informed the Namibian public about one car parts that apparently cost 8 million Namibian dollars. The Ministry of Defense called a press conference to deny the information and label people as liars. At their press conference, they produced a quotation from August 26 subsidiary called Windhoek Machine Fabrication, ostensibly showing that thousands of parts were bought or to be bought. Indeed, lies have short legs. The truth is like cream in a glass of milk. No matter the amount of milk you pour in, cream will always surface on the very top. Not long after this press conference by the Defense Ministry leadership, it turned out that the fabricating company Windhoek, it turned out that the defense leadership has shown to the public a fabricated quotation by their fabricating company Windhoek Machine Fabrication. As the saying goes, meaning God is always there for his people. Those who were told to fabricate the quotation from the fabricating company, Windhoek Machine Fabrication, decided to stand on the right side of history. They revealed in written letters that are now public that they were told to fabricate the so-called quotation. The fabrication and corruption continues. August 26 Holdings has a subsidiary called August 26 Construction. This company has effectively become a middleman, getting preferential tenders from the state, sometimes without open competition, just later to dish these $1 million tenders to their cronies, girlfriends, concubines, and relatives of those in defense circles. The case in point is a $255 million worth tender for 510 classrooms. In the fullness of time, Eagle 25, the corruption investigation team, will reveal how the defense nepotism and web rubricated each other with this tender. It's a story of another day. This middleman, August 26 Construction, got a tender to build the Karas Regional Council Office Park. Typical of middlemen operators, August 26 Construction subcontracted Ultimate Trader CC for the supply and installation of furniture amounting to $3,108,490 Namibian dollars and 10 cents. It is not that this hero's middleman company cannot supply furniture directly. It is because the comrades must eat. Of this amount, 2,950,358 Namibian dollars 38 cents has already been paid to this company. Ultimate Trader CC is said to be owned by Mr. Titus Ipumbu. the said Mr. Titus Ipumbu appeared to be in an entanglement with Mr. Raf Namiluko Sachika, the acting chief regional officer of the Karas Regional Council. Through meetings between Mr. Ipumbu and Mr. Sachika, the amount of 3,969,628 Namibian dollars 63 cents was paid into the FNB account of an internet company called Tushiko Internet Technology CC. Account number 62248254,906. This payment was authorized by Mr. Sachika. This authorization becomes important later. Although the payments were made to Tushiko Internet, the above-mentioned bank account is actually that of Tushiko Investment CC. Once the money landed at Hosea Kutako Airport, in this case Tushiko Investment CC, it was transferred into an FNB account of Ms. Maria Ndatulumukwa Ipumbu, account number 554200344478. Ms. Ipumbu then made several payments to numerous individuals, including Mr. Titus Ipumbu, who received more than 2 million. Ms. Ipumbu also paid an amount of 700,000 to Ms. Lucia Ndinomaele Jacob's FNB account 62243295,187. Part of the money ended up into the bank account of a 2-year-old Robin Ndeanonga Sachika, the daughter of Ms. Jacob and acting chief regional officer Mr. Raf Namiluko Sachika. Our investigation also suggests that Mr. Sachika was also blessed, like his daughter, by his baby mama, Ms. Jacobs, from the proceeds of the money he authorized to Tushiko Internet, which ended up with Ms. Ipumbu, who then transferred the funds to Ms. Jacob, who transferred the money to his daughter and to himself as the main man. The backstory is that close to 4 million that was transferred into the internet company following the meetings of Mr. Ipumbu and Mr. Sachika actually belonged and owed to August 26 construction. The reality is that Mr. Ipumbu, who had meetings with Mr. Sachika, submitted fraudulent letters and documents purporting to be from August 26 construction, authorizing the zigzagging and the redirection of the millions from August 26 construction to the internet company. Mr. Ipumbu also submitted a fake memorandum of agreement for cessation. Surely, the dogs are eating rice and the water has come in the room. This corruption transaction is not different in intent and purpose with the 8 million car part and the fabricated quotation of Windhoek Machine Fabrication, a subsidiary of August 26 Holding. It is not different from the disappeared 3 million from August 26 Logistic, apparently loaned to a Katutura Ho company for the so-called top secret operation. These cases continue and continue. In light of the above, I therefore ask Minister Kapofi, the son of Oname, the following. Number one, is the minister aware of this close to 4 million syndicate involving August 26 construction and the Karas Regional Council? If yes, since when and what steps have been taken in this regard? If the minister is not aware, what concrete steps is the minister going to take since he is now aware of this movie? Number two, what is the minister's perspective on the root cause of corruption that appears to be embedded in the defense procurement system in general and August 26 economic machinery in particular? Number three, why is it that no major actions are taken on real culprits involved in corruption, even when concrete evidence is unearthed? Is this not one of the contributing factors to the perception that nothing happens because in most of these corrupt transactions, the top munenes of the defense systems are always involved? Number four, how many tenders and all contracts have August 26 construction gotten from the government over the past 10 years? The Honorable Minister must please provide a response as exemplified in the table below. The table has a year, project name, town, place, value, subcontractors, name, status. For example, 2020, the project name, as an example, Etondo School, place, Omarala, value 10 million, subcontractor, Kambishikanya CC, status completed. 2023, project name, Zodiac Clinic, place, Okatana, value 5 million, subcontractor's name, Viva Comrade CC, status ongoing. 2024, Fiona Palace, place Olukonda, value 20 million, subcontractor's name, no subcontractor, status ongoing. Number 5, is it not perhaps time for a serious forensic investigation on corruption, operation, risk, efficiency, and effectiveness of August 26 economic machinery, so as to inform both the short-term, medium-term, and long-term intervention? The minister has power to do that. 6, and last, doesn't the minister think it is time to reset and or rethink August 26 economic machinery to repurpose, reposition, and reorient this important military and economic vehicle from being the headquarters of corruption to an important instrument of military-industrial complex? I so submit.
Please table the questions. May you table the questions? Yes, thank you. Is that a request for the floor for the question, Honorable Member? Yes. I just want to read to the House the general rules of the questions. It is section 131, sub 1 says, the right to ask a question is subject to the following general rules, the interpretation of which the presiding member is the sole judge. A, the proper object of a question is to obtain information on a question of fact within the official cognizance of the person to whom it is addressed, or to ask for official action. B, a question may not include the names of persons unless that is necessary to render the question intelligible and can be authenticated. C, not more than one subject may be referred to in one question, and a question may not be of excessive length. D, a question may not contain arguments, inferences, opinions, imputations, epithets, or hypothetical matters. 2, a question may not be asked if it raises an issue already decided in the Assembly or which has been answered during the current session. I'm just reading the whole thing. B, a question may not be asked to a chairperson of a committee which attempts to interfere with the committee's work or anticipates its report. 2C, a question may not be asked which deals with matters referred to a commission of inquiry. 2D, a question may not be asked as to the character or conduct of any person except in his or her official or public capacity. E, a question may not be asked reflecting on the character or conduct of any person whose conduct can only be challenged on substantive motion. And F, 2F, that is, a question may not be asked soliciting the expression of an opinion or the solution of a legal question or of a hypothetical proposition. Then number 3, questions may not refer to or require the disclosure of or proceedings of a committee not yet reported to the House. And 4, this is quite interesting, questions may not be put to the Speaker. Now, I just want to read these questions. I know that we have taken time to read. I decided to just read the whole thing so that all of us going forward would consult these rules and order for that. Now, I don't know, you can put on your mic, Honorable Member. Having said that, I want to proceed to the next item, and that is, where are we? The next item now is notices of motions. Huh? There is a question. Where are the questions? Oh, okay. Honorable Mvula, I can't see your, yeah. Okay. Then, so is it your mic that is on, Honorable Member? Then you can take the floor. Please, Honorable Mvula, it is the mic of the Honorable Member that is on. I don't know why I can't see your mic from here. Can somebody help me to see the questions? Are they coming here? Honorable Member.
Okay. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 17 April 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sport, Arts, Culture, Honorable Sanit Skintam the following. Namibia continues to experience significant rainfall, which has since resulted in flooding. This has disrupted the teaching and learning processes, especially in regions like Angwena, Msati, Oshana, Shikoto, Kunene, Sambesi, Kavango, East and West. I therefore wish to ask the Honorable Minister the following questions. How many schools in the entire country have closed so far, and in which regions? Question number 2. How is the Ministry ensuring that these learners are not affected, and how will the study be recovered? Question number 3. How did the Ministry engage the local communities, the parents, and the school board members on the status quo? Question number 4. What funding or support is being allocated to the reconstruction and reinforcement of the school's infrastructure that were damaged during rain? And in conclusion, what lessons have we learned so far, and how will this inform our future policy and planning? I so submit.
Thank you. Can the Honorable Member please table the questions? Oh. I see that the mic of the Honorable Member here is flicking. Are you, Honorable Member, wanting to ask questions? Okay, keep your mic on. Then Honorable Mvula would be the next. Let the Honorable Member please return to her seat first. Okay, Honorable Mvula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As made custom now through the learnings of Honorable Veiko Nekundi, I raised to ask a question regarding Rule 134 sub Rule 2, which basically says that each member called must rise in his or her place and ask the question with reference to its number on the question paper, and minister or member questioned must give his or her reply or must take the necessary steps to have the reply furnished. Now, having said that, Honorable Speaker, I just want to make very sure and also get assurance from Honorable Speaker that on the 8th of this month there was a question or notice of questions submitted to the Honorable Minister and Right Honorable Natangwe Ithete on the diamond polishing and cutting industry. I would like, since I'm new, as it has been paraded here that the newcomers, or new honorables, I would like the assurance of the Speaker that the Honorable Minister would indeed comply with sub-rule 2 of Rule 134. Thank you.
To the Speaker. I thought I just told the honorable members that questions may not be put to the Speaker. You see, that's the thing. Honorable member, maybe also for the information of the new members, we have a standing item on the agenda usually to give the opportunity to members of the executive to answer questions that are put to them. So, but when we deal with the budget, we usually give priority to the budget. So we usually set the answering of questions aside until we have dealt with the budget, but then that would appear on the budget every Thursday. Okay. Now, the next is the Honorable... So the Secretariat was trying to assist me saying the names would appear on the screen, but I don't see the name of the Honorable Member on the screen. But you... Yeah, I want to call his name. Honorable Member, may you please take the floor? I give you the floor.
Mr. Speaker, mine is on the order of the day. I'm very sorry, I have just flashed to precisely. Thank you.
notices of motions, ministerial statements. Yes, Honorable Minister of ICT.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Before I get into my very short ministerial statement, I would like to congratulate a former employee of the Ministry of ICT, Honorable Emmanuel Nashinge, who has become, I've seen, the leader of the official opposition. So it seems it is constitutional, and we welcome Honorable Nashinge in his new role as leader of official opposition. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable members, I rise to address this August House on a matter of growing concern to our nation around the escalating incidents of scams and cyber attacks on our citizens, many of which are being conducted through telecommunication and digital platforms. With the increasing integration of artificial intelligence, AI technologies into everyday communication systems, we have witnessed a sharp uptick in scams, synthetic media, deepfakes, and other forms of digital deception targeting unsuspecting Namibians. The cyber incidents pose a serious threat not only to individuals' privacy and financial security, but also to our national trust and social cohesion. Namibia, like many nations across the world, is yet to establish specific legislation governing the use and regulation of AI technologies. As a result, we are currently relying on existing legal instruments, including our Electronic Transactions Act, the Communications Act, and the provisions under our Penal Code to investigate and prosecute AI-related crimes. However, the dynamic nature of emerging technologies necessitates a more tailored and forward-looking regulatory approach. It is this reason that for the last 6 months, the ministers of ICT on the African continent have been meeting regularly, both physically and virtually, to take bold decisions on this phenomenon. Our position is clear. AI should be for public good. This is why we have resolved to create an AI council that will foster a regional position and enact a regional legal instrument that will cascade down to every member state in the African Union, Namibia included. Honorable members, in the meantime, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, in collaboration with law enforcement agencies, is actively investigating recent incidences of scams perpetrated through telecommunications. We are working closely with service providers in telecommunications and the banking sectors to trace malicious actors and to strengthen cybersecurity protocols across our digital infrastructure. Notably, the widespread usage of social media in Namibia has further amplified the reach and impact of such scams. According to recent statistics as of 2024, over 703,900 Namibians, thousand are active users on platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, now X, WhatsApp, Instagram, and TikTok. While these platforms have revolutionized how we communicate, share information, and participate in democratic processes, they have also unfortunately become tools for malicious actors, including those leveraging generative AI to create and spread disinformation and fake news. Content generated or manipulated using AI, which is known as synthetic media, has made it easier, faster, and more cost-effective for scammers to produce highly convincing fake videos, images, and messages. This presents a significant risk to public trust, especially when fake news is circulated under the gaze of legitimate institutions or public figures. Honorable Speaker, I would like to make mention of videos that we have observed recently highlighting Her Excellency the President Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah selling a conspicuous cryptocurrency on the market, as well as a deep fake video of the governor of the Bank of Namibia. Honorable Speaker, I also like to highlight here that in our investigations as a ministry, we have come to the conclusion that actors who are fraudulently trying to steal money from bank accounts of users, financial users, is that what they do is they take the IDs of unsuspecting Namibians, make sure they convince those unsuspecting Namibians to go open multiple bank accounts at multiple institutions, and then use those bank accounts as conduits where the money goes to. We've also tried to track the numbers which are utilized in these scams, and we've also come to the same conclusion that they either steal some of these IDs and identities and go to the telecommunication or MNOs, the mobile network operators, register specific numbers in the identities of these unsuspecting Namibians. You might sit here thinking you only have one phone number, but you might have multiple through 2 or 3 mobile network operators, and then they use that number, you unsuspecting so, to scam other individuals. So that is what we picked up through law enforcement, and we are working towards integrating our systems between telecommunications and banking to ensure that we root out those that are not authentic. We are basically having ghost telephone numbers and ghost bank accounts. Honorable, we're not sleeping. Crime is crime, and it takes time. In response to this, Honorable Speaker, the Ministry is considering the introduction of a national system for authentication, just as I've indicated, of information sources. This will enable citizens to validate the credibility of any information they receive by cross-checking it against the database of verified institutional accounts and communication channels. These lessons were learned during election periods where we saw that citizens needed to actively fact-check information and data given to them by media houses, public figures, or any other political actors. Secondly, we are developing a comprehensive public campaign to sensitize citizens on the dangers of misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. This campaign will include multimedia content in indigenous languages, community workshops, and social media engagement using trusted influencers and public figures. I therefore ask the honorable members of this House, when vote 29 comes on the floor, that you pass it with no reservation when it comes to our tables. And yes, I'm lobbying, honorable members, honorable Speaker, for our vote to be passed with no reservation. Thirdly, honorable Speaker, MICT has rolled out a digital literacy program throughout the country, which will now also educate participants on the responsible use of AI and empower them with the skills to reduce the negative impact of AI as part of the course material of that program. Through our 2-year digital literacy training program, we have now started piecing together a national digital literacy framework that will guide the delivery of various digital literacy initiatives to ensure that citizens are empowered to navigate the digital space and fight against misinformation and disinformation. Number 5, we are also launching the Namibia Cyber Incident Response Team and its website next week, Monday, on the 14th of April, 2025, which will create an avenue to fight cyber crimes. 6, we are continuing to implement the National Cybersecurity Awareness Creation Plan, which aims to empower citizens with information to ensure their safety online. Every Friday, the Ministry of ICT, in collaboration with an IT company called South Essential IT, have a 1-hour online cybersecurity training between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. for anyone and everyone who has access to the internet to learn how to be safe online. This is obviously just one avenue for those who might have access to internet, and other avenues are being created for those who might not have the opportunity to join this training every Friday. The ministry regularly encourages members of the public to engage the ministry for tailor-made awareness-raising campaigns. And I see my time is moving swiftly. Finally, the MICT launched the National Reporting Portal for Child Sexual Abuse Material. This portal allows anyone to anonymously report digitally abusive materials affecting children with the view of combating cyber crimes towards them. This is implemented through our partnership with UNICEF, the Internet Watch Foundation, and Lifeline Childline Namibia. As a ministry, we have noticed that many children are going online when they shouldn't be going online under the age of 13, or in some instances under the age of 16. We have also noted that parents sometimes negligently leave their devices with their children without necessarily indicating or properly supervising how these children should use those devices. So we call upon our parents to play their supervisory role, manage how your children are going online, monitor their activity so they do not become victims to scams, and also then you become a victim because your child is using the device. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we are also looking at regulatory efforts through the Cybercrime Bill, Data Protection Bill, Artificial Intelligence Bill, and processes guiding principles in line with the UNESCO recommendation on ethics of artificial intelligence and continental Africa intelligence strategy, as well as a content credentials legislation. I have more to say, Honorable Speaker, but that's the crux of my ministerial statement. And we ask again the nation to be vigilant, to ensure you double check any links that come to your phone. Let us not click on them. It's a gateway for scammers to have access to our devices and in turn access to our private data. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for information. We hope that it will be repeated at other platforms. The matter deserves more time, but right now we are really squeezed for time. According to the rules, ministerial statements, 10 minutes. Members wanting to ask questions, 3 minutes, one time. So I like to invite those members who like to ask questions. Honorable Ampanda? Oh no, there is someone whose light is flicking there. Is that a question? Before you, Honorable Ampanda. Yeah, Honorable Veta. Is that it? Oh, you switch off. Huh? Oh, order of the day. Okay, Honorable Ampanda, you have it. So.
Yeah, thank you very much, Minister. I'm very happy, particularly that you are talking about the regulatory framework to be able to, well, it's a new area, but there is in that regulatory framework that you're thinking about, it's just something that is a bit concerning, particularly when it comes to banks. I know for sure that some banks were actually hacked and they never disclosed this information that they were hacked. And some were actually in negotiation and discussion with these hackers to be able to protect their reputation. So in other words, the bank, what it does, it safeguards its reputation at the expense of our information as members of the public that are with that particular bank. So perhaps in the regulatory framework, we need to also ensure and obligate banks. When these type of activities happen, they must report. The same way when you get 100,000 or 200,000, naturally the FIC and all these people are already activated. So it must also be the same. It must be criminal for a bank to be hacked, our information to be with hackers, and they are negotiating with hackers and not actually disclosing to the authority and society that something like that has happened. And that's obviously the only reason why Telecom, for instance, could not succumb and pay those bribes because it's a public company. Yeah? So this hacking thing is widespread, and we actually need at one point to come clean and explain to society how widespread it is. We think we are here, but we are in serious problem. Last, before my 3 minutes disappears, we also need to, in terms of that abuse and access to our information, you see, Minister, if you go to house and home and you buy a bed, and they run some ITC, with an illegal things actually, an ICT check where they list all these people. There's no law that regulates this thing. They just do it what it is. In fact, people in South Africa, because these shops are linked to South Africa, they can just get all the names of ministers, from Speaker, Prime Minister, President. They enter their IDs in that ICT system in South Africa. They can actually tell, former Minister Naruseb still have a pot that he didn't pay at the BS. So it should actually be illegal. There must be a regulation. You don't just say you list people on ITC. We must understand this ITC thing, protect our information instead of just allowing it. But otherwise, thank you very much. We are very appreciative, particularly for a young person to be pushing progressive things and not just viva things. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Honorable Minister, do you want to respond? No. It's a no. Huh? No, some members are saying it's order of the day. Yeah.
Question.
Who
Thank,
has a
thank you,
question?
Honorable Speaker, and thank you to Honorable Ampanda for those sentiments and questions. One, yes, we fully agree that there should be an obligation for any actor who safeguards the private data of citizens to be proactive in sort of giving a warning to citizens to be vigilant in an instance that they hacked. And that's why next week, Monday, we are officially launching the Cyber Security Incident Response Team, which is meant to monitor internet activity, even affecting different institutions in the country. And once we pick up something, then they are obligated, one, to inform that institution to practice vigilance, but also then send out a public notice to say, okay, there's actually been, and this is really based on, if you see, when we had elections last year, and when we had the inauguration, and when our founding father passed on in February, the profile of Namibia became worldwide. And that's usually the time where ransomware, hackers find an opportunity to say, okay, this country is making the news a lot. Let us test their systems. Let us check if we can find a loophole. So the cybersecurity incidents team will definitely monitor all of that and give sort of a warning to the citizens. But I fully agree, in the cybercrime bill, there is a responsibility towards those who are looking after the data of citizens to be proactive in protecting that data. Which goes to your second question that yes, under the data protection bill, there is a section around a data controller. Anybody who's controlling the data of an individual, they are put to a higher standard in the way they look after that data. And that is why during COVID, we saw that when people were signing in their registers and you were asked to put in your ID number, your home address, and so on, which was necessary at the time for COVID-19 tracing, but now it's not relevant anymore. But also we can now use other systems in which you can give a data controller your data, but everyone else shouldn't be able to see it. Because on a register, you are number 1, number 20 comes to register, he or she can look at all the 20 people, 19 people prior that registered. So there is a provision in the data protection bill that will come to Parliament to ensure that a data controller makes sure that data is protected, and that if they want to use your data, they cannot do it without your permission. So your consent will always be there. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you. So I see that there is another question. I would like to take, okay. So please, no more, there are no further questions. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. This is an important topic. I would rather you have raised it at another platform so that really people can be able to inquire. Maybe, what do you say? Live stream, and people can put their questions or something like that, because it's very important. Now we are not doing justice to it. But any further ministerial statements? Hope not. It's already past 3, so that we can go to the agenda of the day, business of the day. So we go to the business of the day. The Secretary will now read the order of the day.
Resumption of debate on second reading, appropriation bill.
Oh, well, I now recognize the honorable member here. He was the first one to put on his light. Unfortunately, I'm not being assisted because I don't have the names of the members, but I am told that apparently it's because political parties have not given the names of their members so that the names are entered into the system, so that I can have the names here. So now I have some people's names are appearing, others you just see 65, 25, and you can't refer to an honorable member as 25. So, but now I am told this is not the correct name. You see, I'm now even getting wrong names. Yeah. So let's just agree that the honorable member please take the floor. I'm not apportioning the blame to you, but I'm calling upon political parties to please give the names of their members so that the names are entered into the system. Yes. Honorable Kangulu, you have the floor. It's a maiden speech, is it? Okay.
Honorable Speaker, honorable member of this august House, Allow me to begin with an insightful word of Julius Nyerere. If true development is to occur, people must be involved. This word resonates deeply not only with the core ideologies of independence, patriot for change, but also my own personal dedication to involve in serving the Namibian people. I stand before you today humbled and deeply honored as I present my maiden speech and certainly contribute to the proposed budget. The responsibility entrusted to me by the people of Namibia, particularly by the members and supporters of Independence Patriot for Change, is one that I do not take lightly. It is with great commitment and the purpose that I, Aloysius Kangulu, original from Ostutuma village, though I am now a resident of Wabesby, with due sense here of profound gratitude to the people of Namibia, who deems it fit and democratically necessary to represent them in this august house. Ultimately, if it could not be our Johnny Wakers, our Kanjafas, in fact, Dr. Itula, who indeed compared by many to a biblical Moses of this nation, having come to strengthen our democracy, if not a living testimony. Some of us might not have no chance to be politically empowered and serve the people of Namibia in this house. In that regard, and from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely cherish the determination of this Garen son of the soil for his leadership qualities, compassion, and resilience. I can't stand comfortably in this house without recognizing our leadership from the top to the bottom. For we, the champion of true democracy, in our desire for a transformed Namibia. A special thanks to my beautiful wife, my lovely wife, my daughters, and indeed to my family for their continued support. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, as we deliberate in this house, let us not lose sight of the real challenge that our people endure daily. Among the pressing issues that demand our intervention remain unemployment, particularly on youth, who are mostly considered as the backbone of every nation in the world. Land and housing for many of our people who are spending nights of heavy rain and stand unfavorable cold weather under those bridges, if not undesirable non-roof housing. The pride of our men and women in uniform, the soldiers, the police, and the prison officers, who despite their invariable service continue to live under terrible conditions. It is unacceptable that in an independent Namibia, those brave men and women who dedicate their lives to safeguard our nation are still subjected to live in the shift-make houses. They are the ones who are living in deep down Katutula, while we as politicians, we are living here, and somewhere the suburb that I cannot even mention. Due to this inadequate accommodation and decent salaries, and the lack of proper uniform, how many suits do we have here? Some of us, we are even given money to buy suits, while a man in uniform only have one pair or two pair. I therefore call on Honorable Minister to make sure that this situation has been attended. Lack of policies in rewarding merit and qualified cadres, as well as long-serving in all fields, remain a challenge that requires to be addressed. If not, we will keep on losing quality soldiers as a result of frustrating system. Just imagine a member that served for 15 years or more, but she's still a troop, a corporal, no promotion, imagine this particular member having a degree in his position or her position, but their qualifications are meaningless within the system. Their contributions are limited, opportunities are denied, and this leads to the total loss of their morale. There is a need for comprehensive review on the placement, promotion, and in both consideration, be it qualification, long-serving, or so. It is imperative that the government put the well-being of our security personnel first. Their salary must be a sustainable one that promote the ultimate confidence in the cause of discharging their obligation. We must continue commit to ensure provision of housing and sustainable living conditions and adequate resources in order for them to perform their duty effectively, knowing well that they are remunerated and are able to live a decent life. A well-equipped and a well-motivated security force is essential for the stabilities and prosperities of this nation. It is time we move beyond rhetoric and take decisive action to seriously uplift who serve and protect this nation. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, I must also address another matter that continues to cast a dark shadow over our nation: the ongoing rehabilitation of the fish rod scandal. The corruption surrounding the fishing industry has not only undermined the public trust in our institution, but has also left thousands of Namibians, fishermen, their family in a destitute situation. Therefore, with the new Honorable Minister of Fishery, I believe he will take a decisive action to ensure that this matter is dealt with. Those are hard-working men, the fishermen now. They are hard-working men and women who, through no fault of their own, have been stripped of their livelihood due to lack of leadership, greediness, and selfishness of a few individuals, and we have to deal with that. A few days ago, we read in the newspaper a statement insisting not to focus on the past corruption. The question remains, does such a statement really reflect the expectation of the people, of our people, the voters, in fighting for corruption, our people that brought us here? Does that statement truly in conformity with the oath that we took? I thought leadership requires consistency and persistence above all. It is our moral duties as lawmakers to ensure that justice is served, though through relevant law that speak to the need of our people, and that victims of that scandals are not forgotten. The fishing industry, which could be a pillar of our economies, stabilities, and employment creation for our coastal communities, and even citizens who migrate to the coastal town in anticipation for the job, particularly at sea, have instead become a ground of self-enrichment by few individuals. To such end, this 8th Parliament must take a decisive action in order to strengthen policies while embracing monitoring and evaluation mechanism for a zero tolerance in corruption. And I mean zero tolerance in corruption, Honorable Minister. The Minister must go beyond measures and a degree of humanity in humanity to ensure an urgent intervention that will reintegrate these fishermen back to their workforce. The current redress program remains another fish rod on its own dimension, Honorable Minister. Time for empty promise has passed. Time for action is now. Issues of devastating caused by heavy rain in many parts of our country, including even the non-zone. We refer Erongo and particular Walvis Bay and Swakop as a non-raining zone. However, this year, this town were also under savage of rain. And this has left our people in a more vulnerable condition. Roads, you cannot tell, is pothole everywhere or ponds that have been referred to. Further, that require the government intervention. But not just to presumably become an IPC issue simply because the people democratically chosen a different political home, and ultimately leadership change within those local authorities. The notion of even if opposition win the local authority and the regional council, we still control the cake. This notion must be condemned with the strongest term it deserves. November is coming. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, as a committed members of IPC, I stand firm in our party commitment and to accountability, to social justice, eradication of corruption. Once again, we owe it to our people to rebuild their trust in governance by demonstrating ethical leadership and enacting the law and the possible policies that address their real concern. Allow me to further stress with a carillon call upon all members of this House, regardless of political affiliation, to always remember why we are here, is to truly serve our people of this republic, to restore the dignity of youth, restore the dignities of security personnel, to uplift our struggle fishermen, and to fight against corruption in all forms. Only through collective effort can we build a Namibia that is truly just, equitably, and prosperous for all. In a nutshell, I recognize the effort by Honorable Minister of Finance for her commitment to have tabled the appropriate bill for 2025-2026 budget. However, it remains a challenge for one to effectively debate on a very aspect brought to us just a week ago. We must mitigate the subscribed time of 2 months prior as per Rule 200, Sub-Rule 1, on a ground of sufficient time for a member to critically analyze, scrutinize the proposed budget. We must further avoid the norms of just ratifying or approving without further or much understanding and the proper interrogation of the element involved, simply because of time. Moreover, I am concerned if there is real a room to consider or accommodate possible amendment on this proposed budget, following various possible recommendations made in this House. Or we are just to contribute as long as we are given allocated time to talk without necessarily any cause for impact and change. Remember when the people of Namibia and the voters out there call for change, they truly mean genuine change. The way we do things, the way we reason, and the way we do implement programs. And if we are not careful and we are not listening to them, there shall be time that they will reject us when we need them most. Honorable Speaker, honorable member.
Honorable, how much more do you have? Your time is...
I'll manage in 5 minutes.
No, we will not be able to give you 5.
You can just
Honorable.
Just conclude.
Honorable member, can you please take your seat?
Just conclude. Just conclude.
Honorable member, can you please take your seat?
Just conclude.
Please take your seat. Yeah. So, if you need 5 more minutes, that's too much time. We have already given 5 minutes, so you have spoken now for 15 minutes. So, you would have an opportunity to contribute to the budget debate in the next stage. Because I must recognize the other members, the other political parties must have an opportunity also to contribute. Yeah, thank you. But the next person seems to be also from your party still, isn't it? No, your time is out. Your time is out. Yes, Honorable Kalangula.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, am I audible? Am I audible? Pardon me for that. The time can start now, Honorable Speaker. I, Honorable Nelson Tuafeni Kalangula, rise as Shadow Minister of Works and Transport and a member of this August House, representative of IPC and the entire people of Namibia. It has always been an uphill journey walking on grounds of victimization based on where one originates from. Today, a child who comes from different backgrounds stands to represent the whole of Namibia. Namibia is filled with many challenges, and through this maiden speech, I stand and vouch to speak on behalf of many fellow aviators who lost their jobs as a result of Air Namibia's closure. I vouch to speak for the aircraft engineers, air traffic controllers, flight attendants, aviation regulators, pilots, especially those flying in war-torn countries. I shall speak for all aviators who face the difficult task of finding means to feed their families. I will stand in representation to clarify and make understand what their jobs entails, how discrimination plays part in the aviation industry, how security and safety of the motherland sovereignty remains compromised through the regulation bodies. It is upon me and those who understand aviation in this honorable house to make aviation attractive to a child from a difficult background and still make him or her grow in that industry, inasmuch as it brings joy in reintroducing our national pride and legacy of Air Namibia. A full understanding of an Air Namibia history should be brought forward with a highlight of the billion taxpayers' money lost in the past through bailouts. We can simply not attempt to cure a disease by ignoring its root cause. As a former Namibian Air Force helicopter pilot, I stand to speak with reference to the challenges I encountered during my time of serving, some of which still persist to date. It is worth pointing out that representation made for those who do not have a voice in uniform is now amplified to Parliament. Flying and participating in missions over the high mountains of Kunene regions during the drought relief programs, vaccination campaigns, delivering food and medicine to villages only accessible by helicopter, taught me and drove me to fall in love with serving. For that, I have the Air Force to thank. They shaped these flight lieutenant/captains. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a country cannot develop without infrastructure building. It is a cornerstone of any development for any country. This budget must cater for and ensure that Namibian engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and other specialist consultants are given an opportunity to take lead through projects and in the building and development of our motherland. Yes. Focus should be placed on key economic routes to either dualize or upgrade roads to bitumen or tar as an effort to reduce the gravel roads to and from towns, which with services for all Namibians. For example, the C14 road, now also referred to as the MR36 route, from Walvis Bay, Solete, Maltahe, and Hemmelringhausen. Correct, that's the one. Yeah, all the way to Gogeb. This route is the shortest transport route to and from south of Namibia in connection with the Rongo region. Over the years, this ought to have been prioritized in respect of infrastructure development. I have taken notice of the high budget allocation of over 270 million on a feasibility study for the Vote 24 of transport, taken from overall 2.7 billion Namibian dollars. I remain curious to see how these feasibility study funds are allocated and to what effect. My curious mind is further directed on the approach taken by the government and contractors on upgrades of airports such as Mapacha and the likes, with emphasis on holding to account those who abandon projects after being fully paid, as was done in 2017. Honorable members, I speak to consider with utmost respect the outcries and problems of the electorates who gave us seats in this August House. For them, we have to take action, account, and be answerable to their "what did you do" question at the end of this term. We are here to make sure that their cries are heard and action is taken. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I have taken note of the executive on placing priority in applying what we promised to the people through the IPC manifesto. The reduction of ministry is a very important act to save on government expenditure. I further ask that more saving on government expenditure be made and such residual funds are channeled to infrastructure, building, and national development. Additionally, this provokes the thought for a call to reduce state-owned enterprises that signify duplication of services, which has over the years contributed to a high government expenditure and billions of taxpayers' funds through bailouts. Accountability has been observed to have been at a minimal over the past years. It is now worth catapulting into effect within these SOEs going forward. Therefore, careful consideration is needed before introducing another SOE. The old disease has to be cured with a root cause approach. As Albert Einstein once defined insanity, we ought to know that. While demonstrating a clear appetite to save through careful fund allocation and expenditure, it will be prudent of the executive through this budget to focus on every penny and its allocation. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby stand to touch further on the appropriation bill that was presented by the Honorable Minister of Finance in Parliament on the 27th of March 2025. With the guidance of the budget documents later shared to the MPs for scrutiny, Vote 23 of Works indicated that it got 805 million Namibian dollars, and Vote 24 indicated a 2.7 billion Namibian dollars, all under the sector of infrastructure. Now, feasibility study. For the Vote 24 of transport, a total of 275 million, a rise from the previous financial year of 170 million, is budgeted for feasibility study, design, supervision on various divisions of transport of Vote 24 alone. The highest feasibility study is evident in the Railway Infrastructure Division, which stands at 196 million, as compared to the previous financial year, which stood at 78 million of that financial year, suggesting that major infrastructure projects are being planned by this ministry. Fees for the feasibility study design are usually 20 to 30% of the total professional fee, with supervision charged throughout the construction phase. The scale of such professional fee should ideally correlate with the value of the planned capital works. Therefore, the allocation of the 275.9 million would suggest a project portfolio well in excess of the 3 billion if standard fee scales are applied. Now, Honorable Speaker, allow me to emphasize that this amount does not include construction work. It is for the professional services only, primarily rendered by engineers, architects, quantity surveyors, and other consultants. Honorable Speaker, for clarity and better understanding of the budget, I must ask, how did the ministry arrive at the figure of 275.9 million for professional services? Is there a comprehensive list for the projects tied to this allocation so that we can understand the reasoning behind it? Can the Honourable Minister please provide this Honourable House with a list of those projects along with their projected construction timelines and budgets? Do these cost estimates align with the gazetted professional fees in Namibia? And if so, what is the estimated total capital value of the planned infrastructure projects for which this fee is derived? What percentage of this amount is expected to go to Namibian professionals and local consulting firms? And how much, if any, is expected to leave the country through foreign consultancy appointments? What value for money, mechanism, and technical oversight structures are in place to ensure that this money is not spent on duplicated or inflated services? How does the Ministry of Finance justify the scale of allocation for non-capital items, especially in the times when resources are scarce and the nation faces urgent socio-economic challenges? Was this figure subjected to Treasury vetting, cost efficiency assessments, or was it merely submitted and accepted as is? Now, on government garage, as I come close to finalization, government garage division is budgeted at 115 million Namibian dollars on the current financial year, with a feasibility study of 4 million Namibian dollars for that same year. The revised estimate of the previous financial year was 5 million. With the government garage challenges as reported in the recent written article of that of 30 March this year in the local newspaper, which stated that 26 sports utility vehicles were bought at a total price of 26 million, meaning that one vehicle cost 1.3 million, due to the high cost of servicing old vehicles. What value do the feasibility studies hold in improving processes and plans at the division faced with administration challenges like government garage? What is the value for money invested in the feasibility studies in those past years? As I conclude, Honourable Speaker, it is now upon all of us, honourable members, to ensure that this budget works for our citizens. At the same time, engage for the best of all Namibians, regardless of party colours or affiliation. This is a call for the old motto, One Namibia, One Nation. As borrowed by the Zambian former late President Kenneth Kaunda, may so rest in peace. While at it, we should remind ourselves that Namibia is all we have. Finally, I thank my dear wife, Kanebo, and the children, our IPC members, and, well, if you can give me one of them, we can talk about polygamy. But we are here for 5 years. We still got time. Yeah. And I thank also IPC members and its leadership and all fellow Namibians for their support and confidence in this representation. Yes. I salute all those who believe in evolution and change. In the same vein, I thank all the Namibians who accorded us the opportunity to save them. Namibia, change has indeed manifested. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. Now we have eaten into the tea time. I would suggest that we go for tea only for 10 minutes for a break, and we come back at exactly 16 hours so that we resume.
I rise as someone who was once a barefoot boy playing the dusty streets of Karatura, where dreams are often crushed by the weight of poverty and where hopes is more often inherited than achieved. My journey to this chamber has not been one of ease. It has been a journey of protest and pain, accusation, of ridicule and resistance. I know what it means to be humiliated for standing up for justice. I have tasted the bitterness of exile from institutions for daring to question injustice. I have slept in the streets for speaking truth to power, and yet, through every humiliation, I never let go of the belief that our country belongs to all of us, especially the youth. I stand there because I refuse to give up. Because like so many young Namibians, I know what it means to fight for a place at the table. And today, I speak for them. The dreamers, the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, the artists, the graduates without jobs, and the laborers without contracts, and the parents without homes. This House must not forget them, and this Parliament must and will no longer marginalize them. We did not arrive in these chambers because of elite privilege or inherited networks. We arrived here because I believed the rocky road of public defiance, because I raised my voice when it was dangerous to do so, and because I believe that justice, dignity, and equality were not ideals to be delayed, but demands to be made in real time. From childhood, I remember the hollow rumble of empty stomachs in overcrowded households. I remember my mother stretching one meal into three. I remember walking to school in broken shoes, learning to carry not just books, but the burden of poverty. I remember neighbors being evicted, not because they refused to pay, but because the system refused to see them. I remember growing up in homes where no one owned the land beneath their feet. That memory still drives and lives on. Madam Speaker, AR gave birth to a new wave of free thinkers, fearless and radical young people. The 9th of November 2014 will forever be remembered as the day young Namibians took it upon themselves to answer the economic question and to place human dignity at the center of our politics and governance. AR is a discussion and continues to be a discussion every day. It has caused panic as it continues to cause panic in the entire country. I look back as one of the architects of AR and say that the struggle has started, the just and noble struggle has started. Indeed, we have awakened a generation. Young people remain the catalyst of any developmental state. It is not enough to call them the future while denying them power in the present. It is not enough to celebrate youth during August while excluding them from policy implementation in September. We must begin with this truth, that the laws we pass and the policies we write must do more than just include young people. As a footnote, they must enable them to access markets, funding, and leadership without restrictions or red tape. For far too long, the youth of Namibia have knocked on the doors of opportunity only to find them locked with bureaucratic padlocks. We must introduce and properly resource a national youth development fund, a fund not built on endless paperwork, but on trust, innovation, and courage. A fund that ensures young people from Olukonda to Tubuses, from Katima to Ketmanshoop, can access unrestricted funding and support to turn their ideas into impact. Let us not design another program that looks good on a brochure but fails in the bank queue. Let us put young people on land, not just on slogans, but in deeds, title deeds. Let us ensure that youth, cooperatives, and agri-businesses are given access to arable land, and affordable financing without collateral. If we do not act boldly now, we will raise a generation that feels betrayed and neglected by the very soil they are born to. Madam Speaker, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that the government had ratified in 2019 remains a bureaucratic milestone. In fact, it should be an opportunity, but we cannot afford to enter into this new continental terrain with old inequalities. Young Namibians must be equipped, resourced, and mobilized to compete, to collaborate, and to lead. Amit Cabral reminds us, tell no lies, claim no easy victories. So let us be honest. Our youth policies are scattered, underfunded, and disconnected from realities. There is a mismatch between rhetoric and budget, between intention and implementation. I believe in radical honesty. And the truth is, Madam Speaker, our current developmental frameworks are structurally misaligned with the aspiration of our youth. We are designing for a past that no longer exists. We are trying to fix 21st century problems with 20th century thinking. Therefore, the National Youth Fund must be structured and streamlined to address youth developmental initiatives. Honourable members, it is time we move beyond the notion that young people only belong in sports, entertainment, or the creative industry. While these are important sectors and I will continue to champion them, young people also need to be active players in the energy, mining, agriculture, construction, logistics, ICT, and governance sectors. Their innovation must no longer be restricted by location or status. Opportunities must be equitably distributed, and rural youth must no longer be treated as invisible, because Bentuk is not Namibia. We must actively foster youth entrepreneurship. We must provide incubation centers that just don't train but fund these ideas. We must recognize exceptional business acumen not only by age but by potential and support it with tax breaks, procurement inclusion, and direct investment. Across every sector of our economy, there are highly educated, innovative, and talented young Namibians. It is time to empower them to lead, not tomorrow, but today. We must appoint them to boards of government, enterprises, and institutions. Their voices must be present at the decision-making tables where policies about their future are being made. The absence of a youth quota in key national structures is not only a legislative gap, it is a moral failure. It is a missed opportunity to reshape Namibia through the lived experiences, passion, and vision of its young leaders. Our people do not suffer from poverty of ideas, they suffer from poverty of access. And that, honourable members, is something political will can only fix. The youth are not leaders of tomorrow. They are leading from these very chambers. They are leading in the streets, in startups, in studios, and on stages. All we must do is clear the path, hand over the mic, and support their fire with policy and power. Madam Speaker, our youth are not looking for handouts. They are asking for fairness and access and for dignity. They're not asking to be saved. They're asking to be trusted. Trust them, and they will rebuild this country with the fire of hope and the force of ingenuity. To every young Namibian watching or listening today, whether you are hustling in the informal economy, coding from a second-hand phone, farming with a borrowed hoe, or raising awareness on social justice in your community, I see you. I carry with me into these chambers. Madam Speaker, honourable members, permit me, before I conclude, to offer a moment of deep gratitude. To my mother, Sister Eleni Dambelela, the unwavering pillar of my strength, whose love, endurance, and discipline shaped the man I am today. This one is for you. To my late father, Dr. Emmanuel Samuel, thank you for your grounding wisdom and unshakable guidance. To my grandparents, Dr. Kulufadul Kambala and Mekulu Alina Kambala, fondly known as Wakambala, your legacy of courage and spiritual resilience has lit a torch that I now carry with me into these very chambers. You are my revolutionaries. To my entire family and friends, to my siblings, to those who stood by me when the path of uncertain was uncertain and not so fashionable, I owe you more than I can ever repay. To my teachers, thank you. To my teachers, thank you for teaching me to read the world before I could ever write my name into it. To my mentors, late Honorable Mandela Kapere, Dr. Lajang Goraire, Mr. Lazarus Jacobs, Spike Bruns, and others, too many to name. Thank you for working with me, even when it wasn't fashionable. You believed when belief came at a cost. To my One Nation community, all I can say is thank you, Okuhepa. To all the over 70,000 voters that stood in the long queues and scorching sun during the recently concluded general elections, I say thank you. Thank you for believing in us. We fight because we believe, and we believe because we still dare to dream. Madam Speaker, honorable members, let this House rise to the occasion. Let this 8th Parliament become the generation that did not wait for change, but became it. We must build a nation in Namibia where the child in a rural classroom dreams just as big as the one in a private school in the capital, and both have equal access to succeed. As Thomas Sankara once said, you cannot carry out fundamental change without a certain amount of madness. It comes from non-conformity, the courage to turn your back on old formulas. Let this House find that courage. We are the glass of inspiration, and the future is not something we wait for, it is something that we must build. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kambala. I call upon Honorable Kanderodu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker Sarah Najila Kukongelwa Mabila. I'm Vetarwe Kanderodu, elected by the Namibian people to represent them at this August House via Nuto Party of Namibia. Born and raised by two great-grandparents, one who participated in the war of genocide and another one who is a child of a direct genocide survivor who was born in Keetmanshoop by a mother who fled the war of genocide. I still remember vividly how my great-grandfather Johannes Kaipite Wadu, who participated in the war between Germans and Ovaherero at the age of 18. The war that resulted in Ovaherero and Nama genocide, the way he was traumatized at the age of 18, as he always used to sing poetically or kuimba, how they were encouraging their fellow soldiers to fight and kill the Germans. Every morning during wee hours, at around 3 to 4 a.m., if you wake up early, during that time you will hear him singing the song of war of Ovaherero and Nama genocide. I rise today. It needs translation, so we'll stop not to. I rise today with humility and deep sense of responsibility to deliver my maiden speech in this honorable House. I carry with me the voice of rural Namibia, voices that have been echoing in wilderness for far too long, unheard and unattended to, with many parents' bones scattered all over Namibia waiting for proper burial. And some of my parents who were thrown into Shark Island still singing under a deep sea of our Atlantic Ocean, yearning to get proper burial, but this government is very deaf to hear that voice. I'm here to represent the last class of the society, to be the first to be saved. The last must be the first. To my parents, especially my mom, Yakopine Kandorodu, thanks for being my biological mother. I'm proud of you. To my late father, Cleophas Ririka, who remained my friend and a companion, I'm sure your spirit will always protect me. And I always wish you were around up to today, but unfortunately, we can't control life expectancy. My mentor, my grandmother, who brought me up since I was a baby, Clara Wawetwesa Wadum, if it were not for you, I wouldn't have been here today. Mama Wanje, I love you. Rest in eternal peace, my mother. To my friends, siblings, my beautiful wife, children, and comrades, you remain the pillar of my home to always lean on. I'm indebted to the people of Okakara constituency who groomed me politically and made me who I am today. I started to show my leadership ability at a very young age. I was expelled from hostel of Dr. Lema High School in 1994-1995 because I was challenging the injustices that was done against some students at the school with my fellow learners then, Puye Makari, Tail Gaiha Pe Kavara, Java Kahiha, Tennis, Miede, and Tio Kahiha, who were expelled from hostel and managed to get accommodation at Rehoboth, famous blow house of Mr. Dax, with assistance of Mr. Ngetia Mesak Makari. Those from Rehoboth will know the significance of that blue house, especially those from the other side of the house. This character never stopped here until I was elected as the SRC president of Windu College of Education in 2002, of which I was very instrumental in fighting for the calibration of basic education, teacher's diploma, and education degree at UNAM that brought about the abolishment of a basic education teaching diploma in Namibia, BETD. I joined national politics at the tender age of 30 as a regional councillor for Shadonjupa Regional Council from Okakara constituency. I served this community for 15 consecutive years with humility, passion, dedications to bring meaningful changes to the lives of Okakara constituency residents and those of Shadonjupa region. I served this community as a servant with no sign of favoritism, nepotism, partyism, and I was never pushed out of the office until I decided to continue, not to continue for another 5 years, as I intended to move to the next level, being a national legislator during the 7th Parliament to give chance to other Namibians to serve too. Unfortunately, I did not make it. After I left the regional council politics, I was faced with many challenges, such as suspension up to expulsion from the party due to internal party policies. After my expulsion, I remained a committed, dedicated party member, as I did not join any other political party, despite numerous attempts by other political parties to join their political home. But I said, I'm what I am today because of NUTO, and my agreement with NUTO is not over. However, let me say thanks to the current NUTO leadership for reconciling with me and other party members by implementing a reconciliation policy and bring us back to the party, and here I am today. If it is not for them, I wouldn't have been here reading my maiden speech and contribute meaningfully to the House deliberation. Let me thank NUTO party members for their trust in me and for allowing me to serve the Namibian people at this level. Changing political homes is not a solution to show your leadership quality. Let's always be perseverance, as both good times and bad times are not permanent, they come and go. This man, you want to change. This man is a grandchild of the victim of genocide perpetrated by the German in 1904-1908, and is part of landless and land dispossessed group in the independent Namibia that are being denied their right to return to their ancestral land by the current administration. Born from Hoveka royal destiny, I'm a royal blood, so be careful. I'm here in the footsteps of my uncle, Nicanor Chief Hoveka, who signed the second petition to the United Nations together with Chief Osea Kutako, and I'm also in the footsteps of my father, Yarie Tundu Kodongwidi, one of our petitioners to the United Nations with Prof. Brumba Kerina and Dr. Sem Shavishuna Nuyoma, may they continue to rest in peace. As I'm delivering my maiden speech today, there is no law, neither policy to guide the government to address the injustice done to our Herero and Nama people by the Germans Matara. The current administration is in cahoots with the German government to victimize the victims of genocide. There is no redress policy to give back what was taken from us illegally by the colonizer. Since independence, there was no empathy from the Namibian government towards the victim of genocide until in 2006, when the motion was tabled by President of NUTO, Dr. Chief Koima Riwako. Today, this motion is another thorn in the flesh of the victims because those in the executive don't feel the pain, and they are doing as they wish at the expense of the victim of genocide by excluding them from the negotiations underway that have agreed to a peanuts because they don't know how does it feel to be a victim of genocide. I'm a child of the nation that started with nothing after my grandparents were released from the concentration camps in 1908 on the 28th of May. When my parents arrived at Oshitfedu, currently known as Folksland, it was already demarcated and become a property of Folks family. And my parents started to be farm workers, heading their own cattle that are now under the ownership of Folks family. I'm coming from that background, and the current regime is deliberately ignoring this historical part of Namibia that brought the independence that we're enjoying today. Today, the inexperienced government team that claim to negotiate on behalf of the victims only settled for a small amount of 23.93 billion, which is 22.5% of our budget and almost as equal as our education budget for 1 year. But it has been given to the victim for a period of 25 to 30 years for 7 regions for a population over 1.5 million. What a joke. Today our government is talking about German to apologize to the victim. Which victims? Those you did not recognize during the negotiations. Who will take and accept an apology from a murderer in cahoots with our very own government? If the following traditional leaders are not present during that day: Chief Hoveka, Paramount Chief Guvauba, Chief Deraiwa, Chief Mureti, Paramount Chief Kashiwa, Chief Maharero, Paramount Chief Rirwako, Chief Kukuri, and all the Nama chiefs, it will be a futile exercise. And don't dare to do that because it will be a big embarrassment to the government. Do the right thing and do the right things. You have your maiden speech. Do the right thing to swallow your pride and engage those leaders beforehand and start all over in a very inclusive manner. Today, I'm in the August House coming from the most underdeveloped regions by the current administration that purposefully not allocating national budget to Oshodonjupa region or Maheke, Erongo, Kunene, Kavango, Zambezi, Hartap and Karas, and some part of Oshikoto. I'm coming from those who stayed in informal settlement in all the parts of Namibia, such as Twaloloka, Sevende, and Axteland, Hakahana, Okahanja Park, Ombaya Tolotina, the domestic workers, taxi driver, farm workers, those in contracts supported the current regime and all the blue-collar workers, not forgetting the generational farm workers of those of whose land has taken from their parents are in the hands of the Germans.
Yeah. Honorable member, one moment. Please, I would like you to recognize that your party has only 10 minutes. So you are limited to that amount. I want to give you... Yeah. No, just one moment. And we will not debate. We will not debate about it. The challenge that I'm faced with is the chairperson has flexibility to increase the time, but that will be deducted from the next speakers because we must rise at 17:45. So I'll give the member not more than 5 minutes. And please, new members must know that in order for them not to be interrupted, they should also not be provocative. Not more than 5 minutes. Let the member continue uninterrupted, please. Yeah, not more than 5 minutes.
Okay. Not forgetting the generational farm workers of those land has taken from their parents are in the hands of the German, South Africans, and foreign absentee landlords. The government, through willing buyer and willing seller policy, bought some of this land through the resettlement program and distribute the land that was taken from our parents and give to those who did not lose any lands, to the ministers, directors, EDs, and their elites that are closer to power. As a result, the generational farm workers, their home is now called informal settlements. And when are they going to settle formally? They are today in informal settlement in all the towns, as they are landless with no roof on top of their head, no sanitation. They have nobody to look up to them to restore their dignity. Today, there are no single monument heritage sites symbolizing the war of genocide in comparison to the war that followed later because of the survivors of genocide. The report of Ancestral Land Commission has been shelved and is collecting dust because those in power who supposed to implement the commission report, they still have their ancestral land, therefore they don't care about us who need to be at our ancestral land like others. I'm sure many Namibians are looking forward how I will tackle the issue of education, health, rural development, women empowerment, agriculture, transport, land distribution from the hands of the white to the rightful owner, and effective decentralization that will address the issue of urbanization in a robust way. Honorable Speaker, Sarah, Honorable Member of the August House, I stood up today to use this opportunity to participate in a deliberate on the budget presentation for this financial year. Congratulations, Honorable Minister, on this comprehensive budget that you were thrown into a deep sea to swim. You are still new and your input was not there, but rather than reading it and making it sound as if it's yours, congratulations to that bravery. I have listened to this budget presentation and the message is very vague, as captured by its theme of Beyond 35 for prosperous future. It does not tell us where we are heading as a country. Therefore, the proposed theme of this budget put us in a very unfavorable position regarding rational accommodation. However, while the figures are impressive on paper, the soul of this budget appears hollow for the majority who live in rural areas without water, electricity, proper roads, and essential services. Let me be frank, honorable members, a budget that does not speak to the daily struggle of communal farmer, unemployed youth, overloaded teachers, and forgotten pensioner is a budget that serves the privileged, not the people. The last must be the first. A government budget is a powerful economic tool that influences various aspects of country economy. It is safe to say that the budget is central to fiscal policy, which involves government decisions on taxation, spending, borrowing. This decision directly impacts economic growth, inflation, and employment. In terms of its composition, the Minister alluded to the decline trends in total revenue in the coming financial year. The two primary revenue sources streams, SACU revenue and income from the diamond companies, are declining for various reasons as explained. However, no proper mechanism or strategy is outlined in the budget for how the government intends to close the gap. The gambling and lottery business remain untaxed because many of the governing members there own this machine and they don't want to pay tax. But NAMRA is after the poor farmers. Given the complicated nature of SACU, revenue sharing formula, in conclusion, and our contribution to the pool, I won't dwell much into. However, we need to discuss the current situation of local diamond companies. I understand the diamond industry faces headwinds ranging from decreased consumer demand for natural diamond to competition from lab-grown diamonds, thereby reducing the price for diamonds and affecting our production in the country. Notwithstanding all this development, The issue of Namibia cannot be left alone, even though the government decided not to brief the citizen on what transpired on that day and the way forward. I hope our Deputy Prime Minister will soon come up with a statement to tell us how much we lost at Namibia due to those diamonds stolen on that day, which have affected our budget today. Thank you, Honourable Member. Your extended time is over now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You will have an opportunity. You will have an opportunity to contribute to the next stage of the budget. The next person is Honourable Rosa Mbinge. You have the floor, Honourable Member. It's on.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, fellow Namibians, it is an esteemed privilege and a great honour for me to stand here today before this August House and before the entire Namibian nation to deliver my maiden speech in accordance with Standing Rules and Orders Rule number 91. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, permit me to formally introduce myself to this August House. I am Rosaka Mutwambinge Chiundo. I am hailing from the Great Kunene region, born in Epupa constituency, Okangwati in particular. I grew up in Opuo, attending my primary and secondary school in Opuo. My professional journey has been shaped by my background as an educator, a school teacher for more than 25 years. I've been a school teacher, starting teaching from Omsadi region of Mulukila Combined School, being transferred to Kunene region, Opuo. I've been a HOD for 10 years and a school principal for another 10 years. My political background has been shaped by being a chairperson of the PDM Women's League, a member of Central Committee member, a member of National Executive, Opuo Town Council councillor for 5 years, and then a mayor of the beautiful town of Opuo for the previous 4 years. I assume my role in this August House as a representative of all Namibians, irrespective of their backgrounds and their political affiliations, under the mandate of PDM. Honourable Speaker, honourable members, allow me at this juncture to express my profound appreciations to the Democrats to make sure that I have this space under the leadership of His Excellency, Dr. McHenry Kanyono Kerevenani. Your unwavering dedication, your bold leadership, your steadfast commitment to the advancement of the people of Namibia remain commendable. Honorable Venani has been the forefront of advocating for economic emancipation and has consistently provided sound counsel at the highest level at government. His visions and policy contributions continue to shape the national discourse. As we are speaking today, his long ideas being adopted by the ruling government. What a true leadership he is. Furthermore, allow me to extend my appreciations to the previous governor of the Great Kunene region. Honorable Maria Shea, you are unique and special. Take note, unlike the other SWAPO members. Yes, furthermore, Honorable Speaker, allow me to extend my sincere appreciation to the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Sarah Kuongelwa Amadila, for blessing Opuo on 2 occasions during the gala dinner and the trade fair. Thank you so much.
Is she not special?
Not very much. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I stand here today with a deep sense of responsibility and purpose, ready to engage constructively and contribute meaningfully to the legislative and developmental aspiration of our great nation. To articulate my visions, hope, and aspiration for prosperous Namibia. A Namibia where every citizen is given a fair opportunity, a chance to have a dignified home, the right to quality education, and an enabling environment for business, particularly for our hardworking informal traders who strive daily to sustain their families. It is my hope that all Namibians benefit equally from our nation's vast natural resources. Honorable members, this serious responsibility requires all of us to act with integrity, with maturity and dedication to the service of our people. However, a 2024 Afrobarometer survey revealed a decline in public trust and performance rating for the National Assembly, only with 37% of respondents expressed trust in their members of parliament. We as elected representatives of our people should therefore step up our game and truly represent the interests of our people. Otherwise, the young people will stone your graves after you are dead because you didn't do anything for them. Honorable Speaker, during my stay in this House, I will focus on issues that affect all the Namibian people, but allow me to mention a few. Education. Our education system consistently continues to receive the highest portion of the national budget, with a total of 24.8 billion allocated in the 25-26 financial year. Despite this high allocation, the education system continues to experience serious challenges that have a direct impact on the future of our children. As announced by the Education Ministry in January this year, 28,726 learners out of 40,756 who registered for the Namibia Senior Secondary Certificate level examination, 70.5% did not meet the requirements to proceed to AS level. The above results demonstrate a clear picture of the ministry being either under-budgeted because many schools lack proper infrastructures, textbooks, and stationaries. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, education is something very close to my heart. And being a teacher for many years, I witnessed how parents are crying day and night. With the introduction of the UP fund, learners' education is free. But parents have been given stationery lists to buy for children, which amount up to 2,000 per learner. Just think of parents who have more than 5 learners at that particular school, and then they receive these stationaries. And schools are not doing this deliberately because they want to do that. It's because the money budgeted for the schools are not enough. And here we are clapping hands that 28 million is enough. Yes. Honorable members, honorable Speaker, if we want to have a better nation, we need to invest in our education system. Therefore, the cry of the teacher out there should be listened carefully and well attended to. Let me say bravo to all the teachers out there. Yes. Teachers who are working under very difficult circumstances. Teachers who are working and sleeping in tents before going to school. Teachers who are teaching learners who are coming from home hungry. Bravo to all of you Namibian teachers and students. Honorable Speaker, we should all remember that education is not just a budget line. It's a foundation of our nation. Therefore, it should be taken very seriously, and the process of implementation has to be monitored also. Let me go to a second one, which is agriculture. Although agriculture remains a key national priority in Namibia, many people continue to live in poverty, highlighting a clear disconnect between policy focus and tangible economic outcome. For the people, I have a strong growing concern about Namibia's high import level, which may undermine local production and widen the trade deficit, posing long-term economic challenges. According to the 24 Statistics Trade Report, Namibia total import amounted to 161.5 billion, reflecting an increase of 25.2 billion compared to the previous year. Honorable members, we must therefore leave behind our heavy reliance on import and take pride in producing what we need right here at home. We can do it. We have the resources, we have the hands and the mind to do that. It is therefore very important to intentionally just invest in our own agricultural sector and to support our farmers, because it will ensure food security, boost our economy, and build a healthier, more self-reliant nation. Additionally, I believe it's the high time we address the issue of water pricing, especially after this significant rainfall across Namibia. Namibia should not be burdened by this higher cost of water from NamWater. It is therefore essential government to negotiate the water prices to reduce cost, NamWater to reduce cost of water. On housing, the issue of housing is another concern that I feel must be addressed with a serious sense of urgency. Namibia currently faces a severe housing crisis where over 230,000 families living in informal settlements. Lacking access to basic services like electricity, water, and sanitation. In accordance with Article 95 of the Namibian Constitution, the state shall actively promote policies aimed at ensuring access and adequate housing for all Namibians. Fellow Namibians, why are we forgetting so soon? We promise and we are not delivering. As a Democrat, I stand here, believe that every Namibian deserves a place to call home. Given our land resources, it is so easy to give land to all Namibians. At SPDM, we said, one Namibian, one plot. One family, one village. So that's the record. To our informal traders, as informal traders continue to support countless Namibian households, protecting those who don't have an income. According to the former Minister of Trade and Industry 2023, our informal sector has been recorded to be the country's largest employer, contributing about 24% to the gross domestic product for that reason. It is so painful to witness hardworking single mothers and fathers being displaced from trading areas as though they are criminals when they are merely trying to earn a living. It's high time for the government to think of those people. How can you be living in a luxury while people in Havana, they are crying? Why are people there being under rain and you are on a comfort zone? Coming here, you don't have a budget for them. We should start thinking about those people. They should be relocated also. Road infrastructure. Furthermore, our road infrastructure in Kunene region remain a problem. Earlier this year, I had an opportunity to travel from Opua to Terrace Bay and Mova Bay, covering a mere 300 kilometers along the Skeleton Coast. And it took us 9 to 12 hours due to poor road conditions, without network coverage. Just imagine a poor mother living in that area. How does he go to hospital? How does the children go to school? And we are sitting here says the budget is right. If the budget is correct, all issues must be attended to. Honorable members, honorable councillors and honorable members, I used to be a councillor. As a Democrat, I used to be a councillor. So, honorable members, as a Democrat and a proud citizen of this country, again I stand firm for justice and fairness. Coming from Kunene region, I know you are looking up to me. Yes, I pledge to ensure that their voices are heard and their interests are safeguarded. In reviewing the national budget, I will diligently monitor the implementation and plan programs of the ministry, ensuring that the public resources are utilized effectively and transparency for the benefit of all. Honorable Speaker, in closing, kindly allow me to extend my gratitude to my family, especially to my beloved husband. Thank you for your unwavering support and inspiration. Thank you for your understanding even when I am constantly on the road or coming very late in the evening at home. You simply make my political career very easy. To my grandchildren, Pepe and Yora, Thank you for putting a smile on my face after political stressful evenings. Finally, I acknowledge the Almighty God, the Creator, the source of all leadership potential. Thank you for the grace to influence my environment positively. Without you, life has no purpose. And I thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is Honorable Ampanda.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. I finally get an opportunity to contribute substantively to the budget. We have now 5 years left to 2030. And the instruments that are given to us, we are given a fiscal strategy that we ought to communicate the strategy going forward. And then we are given the estimate and then the development budget that is extracted from there. Perhaps there's been a culture that members of parliament don't read, perhaps in the past, but I just want to say to my Minister of Finance that there are people who indeed read and take serious offense to documents that are written in a misleading manner. You will see, for instance, in the fiscal strategy, because it explains the type of expenditure, how it's structured and how it's motivated. One, for instance, you would hear that the base metals are affected by the slowdown in the real estate sector in China. That's what the fiscal strategy says on page 2. But then, on the second page on zinc, it says the increase is on the basis of a recovery in the real estate sector in China. So what is actually happening? Is there a slowdown in China in the real estate sector, as you're saying on page 2, or is it an increase? So we could always say that it's new, we are learning and all sorts of things. Maybe it's a human error, but it is important that we must realize, all of us, that there are people who are reading, and it's very important that we do that. You will also discover that in the fiscal strategies, there's a serious over-reliance on the United States as an analysis of the world economy, which I find it very strange because the United States doesn't even form the top 3 trading partners, whether in import or export. So we needed to understand what is happening in Botswana, yeah? What's happening in South Africa, what is happening with China, the largest trading partner of our country. So it's very important for us to be able to do that, and you don't find that. You also find in the strategy that says boldly that no, there's going to be growth in 2026. And that growth is going to be supported by the expansion of 2 ports, Honorable Minister. Now, those 2 ports is going to be carried out. Also, it was a very promising thing. Oh, we are going to have growth in 2026. And these 2 ports that are going to be expanded is going to contribute. Just to see that, no, the actual plan of this triple P of these 2 ports are only going to start in the last quarter of the year. So there will be no expansion of ports, and those ports are going to be completed in 3 years. So it is also very important that these things, because sometimes you are inspired by what you are reading, then you also just realize these are just manipulative tricks and things like that. So we welcome, indeed, that there has been an improvement in exchange rate and competitiveness, particularly the import cover that increased from 4 to 5. It's very impressive. I advise Minister, we must study and see what is happening in Botswana. How did they manage to have an 8-month import cover? We will learn a lot there. It is very interesting that we hear about in terms of tax reform that are proposed there. And now those specific tax reform also touch on pension. If we want to eliminate poverty, because the 6th intervention we are saying it, no, it's going to assist us with regards to SDG 1. But we can also remove tax on pension withdrawals. It will also going to assist our people. This country and this government have a 2 types of financial years. You have the one that starts on the 1st of July for local authorities. We can pass the budget here, 1 billion or 3 billion going to local authorities, but they have a different financial year, completely different from the one from government. Starts implementing in September, November, December, they are gone on holiday. Then what then happens again? So as part of the tax policy or fiscal policy reform, those are the certain things that we can also do. So I'm afraid of time, but there are just specific things that I wanted to to attend to as far as the expenditure is concerned. In this country, we don't have a first lady. We can't have a budget. And when you stand up and say you support this budget, it means you support 149,000 that are going to the organization of first ladies. That's what you mean when you say you support this budget. Yeah. You can't have a budget that's going to the organization of first ladies. You will find it in the vote. Speaker, can you please attend to Princess? So it is very important. So when we are supporting this budget, unless we are saying that the general is going to go to meetings of first ladies, I don't think so. If the general is not going to go to meetings of first ladies, we shouldn't be budgeting for subscription to an organization that we are not members of because we don't have a first lady anymore. It's very clear. It's also very important. It is also very important for us to understand is that, Speaker, the elements of corruption means this. You have a person who's occupying public office, and they use that public office for the gratification of themselves or the other. You discover that we have given 34 million to NYC. Very good. NANSOC is also part of NYC. But this government budgeted 500,000 for NANSOC. There are many student organizations. It must have been allowed there. Page 40, vote 40, page 497. That's where you find that type of. So when you have a situation.
It's not a point of order, it's a point of clarification. That rule number, you have the rules. You have the rules. Honorable Speaker, what I wanted to bring to the attention of the presiding officer, the budget debate.
I want to have
the budget debate is at second reading. The honorable member professor is doing well, but he has already jumped to the third reading. Are we already there? Should we now start mixing?
Okay, thank you. Okay, honorable members, thank you, honorable member. You may take your seat. Now, I just want to say to the honorable members, please, when we are rising on a point of order, let us cite the rule. Yeah, I just want all of us to know. Let's please keep our book on hand so that we can go there and clarify everything. Yes, Honorable Ampanda.
So basically what is happening is that a person who's preparing the budget, who's a public office bearer, takes a decision out of many student organizations. NANSO is a wonderful organization, right? You have many children. You choose one child over the other, right? So it is when you do.
Honorable member, there is a point of order now. It's no longer a maiden speech, unfortunately, but the honorable member, you must cite the rule. Yeah.
Rule?
I'm waiting for the mic. Hello. Rule 92, Honorable Speaker. Through you, the presiding officer of this session, Honorable Speaker. The assertions by Honorable Job Ampanda must be challenged. Because that particular budget line, if we are to have the Ministry of Education to answer the student organizations, the fund in this country, the Students' Union of Namibia has also received money from the very budget to assist student organizations to run and support the operations of those student organizations. Singling out one student organization is not right, and Honorable Ampanda must read the entire allocation in totality and not partially to put a particular agenda on the table. I would like to make that correction as a point of order based on Rule 92.
To be of assistance, I have already explained, Speaker. It is budget vote 40. Look, the thing is budget vote.
Honorable member.
Page 497. What's happening? So,
okay,
Speaker.
Okay, honorable member, honorable Nekundi, may you both take your seats, eh?
Okay.
So When there is a point of order made, if the presiding officer grants a point of order, the member who was on the floor will take the seat, but the member who is making a point of order will also, upon being given the floor to make a point of order, cite the rule. So you can't have two members standing. Yeah? And this is the point I wanted to make. The member must say something, because I think he had not completed the sentence. In as much as I may not personally agree with him, but he can't, when a person say one word, you get up.
Personally agree.
No. Honorable members, wait. What I'm saying is that I am not necessarily agreeing with the point that Honorable Ampanda is saying, but he cannot just say what I'm saying is, and then somebody say point of order. So he must say something so that we can contest what he's saying. Yeah. Honorable Ampanda, you take the floor.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. I'm speaking to vote 40. I'm not talking about what is in the imagination. I'm talking about what is on vote 40 and what is on page 497. On page 497 of the budget, you only find one organization. So when you find that particular thing, it is the decision of a policy maker, the decision of the minister, the position of a person who drafted that budget is a corrupt conduct.
Yeah.
This budget cannot be passed with a corrupt conduct. You cannot pass on that thing with a corrupt conduct like that. So once you...
Honorable member, unfortunately the time is up now. So you can wait for the committee stage. Can I explain? Honorable member, please take your seat. When a member is on the floor and another member rises on a point of order, the time stops. His time cannot run while another person is making a point of order. So the members that were making a point of order were not speaking at the time of Honorable Ampanda. No, that's not correct. So the Honorable has exhausted the time for now. He will have the opportunity to speak when the vote comes. Now there is no one on the floor anymore to make a point of order, Honorable. Yes.
You have discretion. May I indulge you on your discretion?
Yeah, honorable member, not this time around
because I was making a material point.
No, I get you. Yeah, can you just take your seat? Yeah, okay, honorable member. Honorable member, can you just wait? The reason why I'm not able to exercise a discretion now is I don't have that flexibility. We have allocated the time for each political party, and your political party has used up the time that is allocated to it between the two speakers, I believe it is, that spoke today. So if I indulge you, it would eat into... No, I'm not going to give a floor on that issue. I'm making a ruling. If I indulge you, it would eat into the time of the other political parties that are lined up to speak. No, honorable member. So I'll give the floor to Honorable Indireni Daniel. Oh, please. Maiden speech. This is a maiden speech, isn't it? So please, let's give her the courtesy.
What faction are we? Sam is funded. Sam is also funded.
Okay.
Go ask it. Go ask Simon.
Honorable Speakers, Honorable Speaker, Dr. Sarafu Wongeramadira, Honorable Members of Parliament, fellow Namibians. My name is Indileni Ndefipanda Daniel. I'm representing the mighty SWAPO party. It is with profound gratitude and humility that I stand before this august house today as a newly appointed Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. I am deeply honored by the trust bestowed upon me to lead this vital portfolio, which holds the key to safeguarding and protecting our flora and fauna, promoting sustainable development and enhancing Namibia's global standing as a premier ecotourism and destination of choice. I fully recognize the immense responsibility that comes with this position, and I pledge to carry it out with diligence, integrity, and deep sense of national pride. I also wish to acknowledge the hard work and dedication, sacrifices made by my predecessor and his team, who have worked tirelessly to pave the way for the important work that I am about to embark upon. As a minister, I pledge to, as part of our unwavering commitment, to implement all the acts, regulations, policies under the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, as time permits. Honorable speakers, honorable members, Namibia is a community-based conservation model that has earned global acclaim. We will continue to support communal conservancies in protecting wildlife and diversifying income sources, be it through craft, tourism, or carbon offsets. Borrowing from Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah's words at her inauguration speech, and I quote, "Living with the wildlife comes at a cost, and the benefits have no outweighed that cost." Our fight against poaching and illegal wildlife trade will therefore be fortified with technology and interagency collaboration to ensure that communities living alongside wildlife derive benefit from them. Namibia stands at a crossroad. Our environment faces unique challenges as opined by Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah in her inaugural speech again, and I quote again. We need to continue to contribute to the international efforts to address global challenges facing humanity today, such as environmental degradation and climate change. Of quote. Our vulnerability to climate change is undeniable, but so is our resilience, and we will continue to work closely with our international partners, regional organizations, the global community to ensure that Namibia is both a responsible actor and a leader in climate action, contributing to a global effort in mitigation and adaptation. Our forests are under immense pressure, yet they remain the lifeblood of rural livelihood and environmental balance. We will enhance monitoring, supporting community forestry enterprises, and take decisive action against illegal logging. By collaborating with traditional authorities and the regional council, we aim to transform forestry into a source of jobs and harmony and not conflict. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I recognize the importance of tourism as one of Namibia's fastest growing industries, offering a gateway for women and young people as key economic driver with the potential to uplift local communities, create jobs, and showcase our cultural heritage to the world. Let us be clear, prosperity is unattainable without investing in the most vulnerable people in our society, who are women and youth mostly. In this era of economic transition, we are looking beyond traditional jobs, tapping into opportunities such as green jobs in recycling, eco-construction, renewable energy, and sustainable agroforestry. These are not mere trends, they are opportunities for women and youth, innovation and entrepreneurship. With that said, allow me to extend my sincere gratitude to the current Minister of Finance, Honorable Erika Safuda, for her diligent work in preparing and presenting this budget, and to the previous Minister of Finance, whose contribution have laid the foundation for our nation's fiscal policies. Your efforts have been vital in navigating complex economic challenges while maintaining focus on national priorities. The budget may not address every challenge that we have, but it reflects our collective will to keep Namibians moving forward. I urge this august House to support it as we work together to protect, preserve, and prosper. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Her Excellency the President, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, and her people of Namibia, and the people of Namibia for entrusting me with this great responsibility to serve this peace-loving nation at this capacity. I'm fully aware of the challenges and the weight of the task ahead, but I'm equally inspired by the possibility and opportunities that lie ahead. Together, let us continue to build Namibia where the environment thrives, where our forests and wildlife are safeguarded, and where tourism continues to serve as a cornerstone of our national economy, ensuring that benefits of our natural heritage are shared equitably while preserving traditional knowledge and protecting resources for the benefit of our Namibia. And lastly, let me thank my family, my friends, and all those that are standing behind me. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I thank you and look forward to our collective effort in building a prosperous Namibia for future generations. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I now recognize Honorable Mbwale. It's a maiden speech.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, esteemed Member of Parliament. My name is Linda Mbwale, serving this August House under the SWAPO party tickets. Yes. It is both an honor and privilege to rise before this esteemed house today to deliver my maiden speech as a newly elected member of Parliament and as the Deputy Minister of Gender Equality and Child Welfare. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to my family for their unwavering support and encouragement throughout my journey. In particular, I would like to thank my husband, my Sambale, for his love, strength, and for allowing me the space and freedom to participate fully in the political life of our country. Yes. His support has been foundation of my commitment to serve. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my journey began in the classroom of Umsati Region, Wakana constituency, where I served as a teacher, nurturing young man, and witnessed first-hand transformative power of education. Later, as the mayor of Wakana town, I learned the importance of grassroots leadership and the need to bridge the gap between policy and people in the service. This experience has shaped my unwavering commitment to rural development and education. As a proud daughter of Namibia, I carry the legacy of our independence struggle, a legacy that reminds us of the resilience and unity that brought us freedom. But freedom is not enough. We must ensure that every Namibian, regardless of their background, has access to equal opportunities that uplift and empower livelihood. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I extend my deepest appreciation to Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for your confidence in me. I'm humbled by her decision to include me on the Parliament list and to entrust me with the responsibility of serving as a Deputy Minister, and I pledge to honor this appointment with dedication, humility, and strong sense of duty to our people. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to take this opportunity to congratulate Her Excellency, the President, the Vice President, Her Excellency Lucia Wetboy, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Salaku Wangelwa, and the Deputy National Assembly, Atamelo, the Prime Minister, Honorable Eliangulale, the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Natangwe Isete, all newly appointed ministers and deputy ministers, including myself, and all members of Parliament, our collective effort contribute meaningfully to the progress and development of our beloved nation. Yes, yeah. As a new member of Parliament and deputy ministers, our commitment to serving with integrity and compassion, particularly in the area of gender equality, child welfare, and social justice. I believe that empowering women and men protect the rights of our children is not only a moral imperative, but a national priority. You see? Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I was to express my full support for the national budget. It speaks directly to the core issue that matter deeply to me: the development of our youth, both boys and girls, men and women, gender equality, the strengthening of primary education, and the fight against poverty. These are not just policy priorities. Yes. They are personal commitments that I carry into this role. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, let us work together to build a Namibia where every child can dream, where every woman and man can read, and where no citizen is left behind. Yes. Thank you. Thank
you. Thank you very much, honorable member. Now I invite the honorable member. The members, as I said, I don't have the names here. And why am I not giving? Why? You have the floor.
What's going on? What is there?
Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, am I protected? Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, Member of Parliament. I am starting by saying
I am Honorable Bishop Festus Thomas, the President of the Body of Christ Party, a biblical-based political party representing the masses of the Namibian people with the clear objective to inspire the Christian participate in the political decision-making and the public life instead of criticizing from the sideline. I could not put down my history because of the time. I could write a New Testament. But in the meantime, I can assure the August House that I am a son of the liberation struggle. Coming home, 35 years, our clarion call was and is, if the parliament cannot come to the church, then the church will come to the parliament. Today the church is fully represented in parliament. First and foremost, with a great gratitude, show my appreciation to my dear wife, family, who nurtured me, and to each and every voters that made a journey possible to the 8th Parliament, while recognizing Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the first female president in Namibia history. Thus in power, had to make a rightful appointment to Dr. Ngourare as a Prime Minister of this country, and to Her Honorable Sarah Kuongerwa Madira as the first female Speaker of the National Assembly of Namibia. God bless you. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, my story is very, very short. I just want to come to contribution to the financial budget. But I would like to speak from the side of land. A protected land, Honorable Speaker, is essential for ecosystems function and the land management protecting directly impact soil. Impact soil, yes, it's a health for me and you, not for foreign first. Not for foreign first. Yes. Yes. Land ownership and the tenure system are crucial for economic stability for Black Namibian too, for social justice in that matter, and political stability, land planning and management are essential for ensuring sustainability and equitable access to resources. Dispute over land, year out, year in, can lead to a social and political instabilities. Lesson learned from some African countries, such as South Sudan and DRC, is because of land.
misappropriation, making fair and transparent. Now this nation is at war. Land governance system is vital. This brings peace in every nation in Namibia and Africa at large. Honorable Speaker, honorable member, in conclusion, sustainable land management practices are essential for ensuring long-term environment and economic sustainability for our country and our people. Our clarion call again, expropriate land for equal distribution. Abandon the way of expropriation land with compensation. This is what we call another land colony. The story of land is overlapping now. Please resolve the land issue for one and for all, for our need as it is predestined to us before the foundation of this earth by our Almighty God. Otherwise, I will partially accept the budget that never accommodate the need of land. And I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, honorable member. I now give the floor to Honorable Ita Bena. It's a maiden speech.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Today, confidently, I'm here to present my first ever maiden speech as a member of this August House. I'm Werner Shishiweni Ita, born and bred at Omlathitu village, 8 kilometers from Oshakati town, Oshana region. I have substantial experience in banking sector and local government as I worked for financial institutions and various municipalities. Most importantly, I would like to thank the Namibian nation for mandating the mighty SWAPO party to continue governing the Republic of Namibia. As a governing party, we shall continue to protect, defend, uphold, and respect the Constitution and other laws of the land of the brave. Moreover, I would like to congratulate Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah as the first female president of the Republic of Namibia, and General Denga Ndaitwah as the first ever gentleman of our peaceful country. In the same vein, I would like to congratulate Dr. Sarah Kugongelwa Amadira as the first female Speaker of the National Assembly in our beloved motherland. Honorable Speaker, Namibia is geographically large country with small population of 3 million. Its economic growth and economic development is visible across the country. The government through the bank, that's Bank of Namibia, and the Ministry of Finance is consistently containing the fiscal and monetary policy since independence. It is indeed commendable and plaudable to those entities. The external debt, foreign debt, in relation to internal debt, that's domestic debt, is reasonable, well managed.
The repo rate, which stands at 6.75, aiming to support the domestic economic and safeguarding the peg between Namibia dollar and South African rand, is a crucial monetary policy tool to impact significantly investment and economic activity by influencing borrowing costs, which in turn affects spending, lending, and overall economic growth. The balance of payment is indicating that investment leakages, that's capital outflows, and investment injection, that's capital inflows, which summarizes economic transactions between Namibia residents and the rest of the world, inclusive trade in goods and services, capital and financial flows, is built up of a trade deficit. It is indeed our wish to have our current and capital accounts at break-even, or to keep at equilibrium or surplus in new future by investing heavily in manufacturing plants, where workers transforming raw materials into finished products and value addition. Honorable Speaker, the Gini coefficient has been improved from 0.9 in 1989 to currently 0.59. Recorded an improvement of plus or minus 40%. This is an indication of government commitment and dedication to better the quality of life of Namibian people. Namibia's recent economic performance was stronger than expected. The economy grew by 4.2% in 2023, driven by the mining sector, including investment in oil exploration. The economy has recovered to its pre-pandemic level, but many key sectors, including job-rich construction and financial services, are in recovering stage. However, agriculture is envisaged to grow by 4% as recovers with current abundant rainfall. Honorable Speaker, the appropriation bill indicates that education sector shall receive 24.8 billion. In wider sense, means that the government values education as a priority on the agenda of youth empowerment. The government values education as a vital for individual growth, economic prosperity, and societal progress, which providing skills, knowledge, and opportunity for better future. Education fosters critical thinking, problem solving, and empowers individuals to become informed citizens and contribute meaningfully to society. Therefore, the allocated income and expenditure for vote 40 is commendable, and I do assent without any hesitation. Honorable Speaker, it is also remarkable to know that in the appropriation bill, urban and rural development shall receive 2.7 billion. The large portion of this developmental budget will be used for formalization of informal settlement across the country. The unwavering efforts by Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Elia Gurare is applaudable by proposing to diminish undignified shelters for our community. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, commonsensically, to invigorate the service delivery in urban setup, it is vital to elevate some local authority to Part 1 and 2 municipalities. For instance, Kietmanswop and Ochiwarongo could be elevated from Part 2 to Part 1 municipalities. While Oshakati, Ongwediva, Ondangwa, Outapi, Enana, Rundu, and Katima Mulilo could be promoted to Part 2 municipalities to ensure self-sustainability and self-governance in terms of modus operandi to minimize too much dependence on government, except capital development. The latter have vigorously improved on infrastructural development. Their revenue base and mobilization thereof have substantially increased tremendously. Finally, I do concur with appropriation bill of 2025-2026 financial year as tabled this year by our venerated Minister of Finance. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I so submit my maiden speech. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ita. I now recognize Honorable Mvita. It's a maiden speech.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Honorable visible and invisible shadow ministers and deputy shadow ministers, allow me, Honorable Speaker, it is my distinct honor to address this honorable House for the first time. I'm Charles Mubita. I'm an international relations and strategic communications specialist and many others. I'm a veteran of the liberation struggle. My journey to this House started in early 1974 when, as a young man, I decided to put my life on the line and joined the ranks of Namibia's liberation movement, the sole and authentic representative of the Namibian people, the SWAPO Party. After my military training in Kongwa, central Tanzania, in 1975, I was deployed to Detachment A at the Eastern Front, about 7 kilometers west of the Wenela border post. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to dedicate my maiden speech to a young man whom I befriended beyond comradeship, with whom I shared a trench for 3 years of unrelenting battles against the colonial forces and their quislings, some of whom are still masquerading around the streets of Namibia, shouting that they are veterans. Honorable Speaker, I'm talking about a young man from Oshiunje village near Okalongo in the Omsati region. This young man died in my hands on the 19th of February 1978 at a place called Dairy between Katima Mlilo and Mpacha. That was my third battle, and 6 more other battles followed. I'm talking about Heinrich Shikongo, whose combat name was Shikongo Shabazuka. He succumbed to shrapnel of an APC, not IPC, please get me that, of an armored personnel carrier because he fired his bazooka at a close range. The 6 APCs and 1 station wagon were completely destroyed in the sport. I dare say Comrade Kongo Shabazuka deserves a symbolic grave at Oshunde village. I undertake to accomplish that task. Honorable Speaker, wisdom dictates that a nation that does not honor its heroes is not worth dying for. It is not worth sacrificing for. It is not worth the honor to be called a nation, but rather a conglomerate of hypocrites. The lesson that humanity needs to learn is that those who drink from the well must not forget those who dug it. Namibia has a plethora of heroes and heroines who paved the way and spearheaded the struggle for independence. Some were fortunate enough to see the fruits of their sweat. Others were not that fortunate. Today, Namibians cherish the values of freedom, democracy, and rule of law, for which our heroes shed their blood. When the time comes to choose heroes, it is important to put aside the whims of popularity gained from praise worshipping and affability by our enemies. Surely the heroes and heroines of our erstwhile oppressors and colonizers do not deserve to be our heroes and heroines. Their heroes and heroines stood and died for different things. Theirs died in defense of perpetuating colonial subjugation and economic exploitation, whereas ours died to liberate us from the shackles of all facets of colonial oppression and to restore our dignity through freedom and independence. In this regard, we owe it to the veterans of the liberation struggle to ensure that they are well looked after, respected, and honored. Therefore, while fully supporting this budget, I wish to appeal for urgent consideration of the needs of the veterans. And here I mean real veterans, because shadow veterans will never understand.
Those masquerading veterans are not allowed. Shadows and
May I please continue? I am inclined to believe that all of us sitting here are collectively here for one purpose, and one purpose only. And that purpose is to serve the Namibian people. We, collectively as parliamentarians, form a key part of the government of the Republic of Namibia. We are the government. Therefore, we cannot, on a daily basis, apportion blame to ourselves. We cannot apportion blame to ourselves.
Please, shadows and votes are not allowed for now.
You have, my time is running out. You have all the powers as members of this August House to amend, to initiate, and to enact laws that will save the people of this country. Nobody else. You have that responsibility, use it, and stop shedding tears. Using this August House as a platform to grandstand rather than as an instrument to reaffirm our commitment to working collaboratively to address the socio-economic needs of our people is disingenuous and a betrayal to those who voted for us.
Honorable Member, we will allow...
Let us start working to improve the lives of our people. To improve the lives of the Namibian child.
Honorable Member, I will allow Honorable Mbita up to 5 minutes to conclude his statement. In terms of the rules,
no problem.
Not more than 5 minutes for the Honorable Member to conclude his statement.
All right. I am eager to see that this August House enact laws that will improve the living standards of our people. Laws that will ensure that school-going children get free uniforms, as opposed to the current trend where prisoners, regardless of what crime they've committed, are availed free uniforms. They get free accommodation, while the majority of our people live in shacks. They receive free water and electricity, while our people pay exorbitant prices for those utilities. We worry every time when we hear that prisons are overcrowded, yet we behave as if it is normal when classrooms are overcrowded. Let us get those prisoners out of that prison, out of their comfort zones, so that they can meaningfully contribute to the socio-economic development of our country, including food production. In this era of the Trump tariffs and other globalization golden handcuffs, we need to choose wisely between the so-called free trade mantra and protectionism. There has never been and there will never be anything free from our erstwhile colonizers. Our markets, our resources, our trade, our businesses deserve protection from foreign economic vultures. Whether those vultures are dressed in filthy garments of NGOs or through bilateral and multilateral relations. We are in an era where dependence and interdependence have become inseparable. They are now characterized by the theory and practice of complex interdependence. This theory and practice camouflages dependence as human rights, as lucrative and beneficial to the gullible. Hence my objection the other day to the sponsorship of our workshop by some NGOs whose mission is, by all intents and purposes, contrary to the principles of political parties that have no shadows monitoring them. Let us keep Namibia as the land of the brave and not the land of the compromised or the land of the sellouts. Viva Namibia. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. In terms of rule, in terms of Rule 155, sub 1, automatic adjournment, the House rises until the 15th of April at 14 hours 30.
Yes, Speaker, I rise on Rule 14. In terms of the times and days of sitting, unless otherwise ordered by the Assembly, the times and days for a sitting of the Assembly are 2:30 to 5:45 on Tuesdays. Speaker, I have observed this trend where we adjourn each day very late from the time of adjournment. And I think the rules also make provision for extensions. And if we are going to, I think, Honorable Speaker, it's only prudent that if we are going to have more time to debate on the budget or to have more, at least, inputs from members in this House, the rules allow for an extension, a formal extension to be made at the beginning or before the commencement of every session. I just wanted to remind the Speaker of that particular rule that the Speaker has been deliberately breaking. Thank you.
Yeah. No, Honorable Member, I wouldn't want to debate with you on that issue. If we can start the business of the day at 14 hours 30 every day, and if all the members would stick to their times and comply with the rules, we would have enough time to deal with the budget within the time that is allocated. The presiding officer is given the authority to exercise the flexibility as may be required to enable Parliament to conclude the matters that are saved before it in a rational manner. And that is what has been done. So the House rises until the 15th.